Today I'll be talking about biodiesel, what it is, how it's made, and why it's becoming an important renewable fuel. I'll also go over its environmental and economic impacts and my recommendations for its future. Biodiesel is a renewable, biodegradable fuel made from natural oils like vegetable oils, animal fats, and recycled cooking grease. What makes it useful is that it works in existing diesel engines without modifications. The United States Department of Energy reports that biodiesel is one of the most widely used alternative fuels today, especially in blends like B20, which is 20% biodiesel and 80% diesel. What's the biological source? So most biodiesel in the United States comes from soybean oil and canola oil, which are grown through normal agricultural processes. Another major source is used cooking oil, which can be collected from restaurants and recycled into fuel instead of being thrown away. There's also a lot of research going into algae because algae can produce a much higher amount of oil per acre than regular crops. So how biodiesel is made. The energy in biodiesel originally comes from photosynthesis, which is how plants convert sunlight into stored chemical energy in the form of oils. These oils are extracted and filtered, and then they go through a chemical process called transesterification. This reaction converts the oil into biodiesel and a byproduct called glycerol. Once purified, the biodiesel can be used on its own as B100 or blended into common fuels like B5 and B20. So, developmental status and environmental economic impact. Biodiesel is already commercially available across the United States, and many fleets use it because it's compatible with diesel engines. According to the Department of Energy, B20 blends can reduce total hydrocarbons by 20%, carbon monoxide by 11%, and particulate matter by 12%. B100 can reduce certain pollutants by up to 80 to 90%. Economically, biodiesel helps support American farmers and reduces dependence on imported petroleum. Public outreach and strategic evaluation. Public communication for biodiesel mainly comes from organizations like the Department of Energy's Clean Cities Coalition, which promotes alternative fuels. Fuel pumps are also required to clearly label biodiesel blends, which helps inform consumers. My evaluation is that biodiesel is a strong renewable option, but its growth is limited to feedstock availability and the higher cost of production. So my recommendation is to expand national recycling programs for used cooking oil and to increase investment in algae-based biodiesel, which can produce much higher yields. So the future advancement strategy. If funding wasn't an obstacle, the first step would be building large algae farms, because algae can make way more oil than regular crops. I'd also add more gas stations that offer B20 so that people can actually use the fuel. Another goal would be switching school buses and city vehicles to biodiesel, since they use a lot of that fuel every day already. And finally, I'd start a national campaign to help people understand what biodiesel is and why it's good for the environment. And these are the sources that I use for data and the images in the presentation. Thanks for watching.